The J.J. McCarthy era alongside Kevin O'Connell kicked off in an electrifying fashion where they kind of looked like ass for the first three quarters, and then for the fourth quarter, J.J. McCarthy came alive. The Minnesota Vikings get a massive dub over the Chicago Bears in the NFC North. A lot of question marks around what's going to happen in Chicago, but we pick it up 17-6. J.J. McCarthy had thrown a pick six to this point. It was 17-6, 2 field goals for Will Reichard, one of them being a 59-yarder. In the first three quarters, I got this stat from Hembo. J.J. McCarthy averaged 6 yards per the air per attempt. In the first three quarters, he was 33% of attempts to the sticks. In the first three quarters, he only had 73% of his yardage came from yards after catch. In the fourth quarter, 11.9 air yards per attempt.
What?
63% of them went to the sticks.
What?
And only 32% of the yardage came from yak. He was airing it out. 17-6. We just hit Justin Jefferson over the middle. What an incredible catch. Justin Jefferson does play for the Minnesota Vikings, which is basically what a lot of people were asking. Is J.J. McCarthy going to ruin the Justin Jefferson experience? Is this offense ever going to be able to be capable to be what they were last year with Sam Darnold and everything that Kevin O'Connell's a part of? Well, fourth quarter came around, and J.J. McCarthy said everything they were saying about me at IMG and everything they were saying about me in Michigan is about to come fully to fruition. People say he's an absolute dog, a leader of men, a dude that whenever he gets into a room, he commands it. 17-12, how you doing? Keep it moving. Aaron Jones, B.A., a man who coached for 47 years. You love this play because the design was impeccable. Ain't that right, B.A.?
Unbelievable. Yeah, you go. Kevin O'Connell, I think, is one of the best coaches in the league. And they got, NFL is all about matchups, and they got a great matchup. Aaron Jones on a linebacker. They got the perfect coverage. J.J. delivered right on the money.
Love that. J.J. McCarthy seemed to be in his bag, I believe is what people would say. And it seems like he came alive. Two-point conversion hits Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen, J.J. McCarthy working out in the offseason together. Adam Thielen from Minnesota. Got to know J.J. McCarthy after getting drafted there. Worked out in the summer. He gets traded from the Carolina Panthers to there. His family celebrates he's going back home. And I think J.J. says, I'm getting a guy I'm also very familiar with. He gets two-point conversion. Let's keep it rolling here. Now, 20-17. What are you going to do with it? JJ says, let's run a little option. I'll keep it, put my head down. And in his hometown, he stands up, celebrates, has the moxie, and all the boys are jacked up before a massive fourth quarter. Kevin O'Connell's team looked like they were a little bit of a dud for three quarters of this game. Look at the downfield blocking. Look at JJ McCarthy lowering his head. Darius J. Butler, 9-year veteran.
Great play design. You mentioned T.J. Hockenson with the block. It was a great play call. And then JJ, you just got it in the paint, but that's a big-time play in a big-time moment.
It certainly is. Everything good for JJ came in the fourth quarter. Now they're up, obviously, 27-17. The Chicago Bears can still answer. We have enough time on the clock. Ooh. Caleb Williams to Cole Kmet with a one-handed snag. Tick, 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 tick. Has a chance to throw a touchdown to DJ Moore, puts it in the front row. A lot of people talking about this throw being a reason why they lost. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily 100% true. Now, if they score this early, obviously you add an extra timeout. They lost a timeout because of a punch-out a little bit earlier with a challenge call, and now they don't score here, which would have left more time ahead of the two-minute warning. Now they go drive down and score. And Caleb Williams throws a dot here. All right, and now he's potentially going to lead a comeback. Is there enough time?
Maybe. Could have been.
Is there enough time?
There could be.
So they have one timeout and they have the 2-minute warning. Right now, though, no time can go off the clock. Cairo Santos, we need a touchback. We need no time off the clock. Instead, what happens? Cairo hits a pretty good ball, about 5 yards deep, I think. 6 yards, 7 yards deep, maybe. You need that to go out the back of the end zone. Very big kick to pull that off, especially in the fourth quarter. They decide to return it. That eats the clock away, gets it under the 2-minute warning. So now there's only one timeout used as opposed to 2 stoppages of the clock. And if you look at his eyes, he's looking at the sideline right there. And that is strictly because Kevin O'Connell, the head coach, is the one deciding, bring it. We need to burn some time here. All this needs to eat is 3 seconds. Even if we end up in our own 15, the stoppage of the clock can only happen one time. I love how in sync they are.
Yeah.
I love that this is week 1 and they're doing this. And this is a situational football kind of master class out of Kevin O'Connell, who I got a stat for about his close games. Since 2022, under Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings led the NFL with 13 field goal wins, which is 3 points or fewer, and 27 one-possession wins, which is 8 points or fewer. It's decisions like that, though, at the end of the game, I think that really, I don't want to say can amplify that, but certainly multiply that type of shit. They're making the right decisions in live, in real time that you try to work on and hope you can be good at being.
Yeah, these are things, as a head coach, you prepare your team before it happens. And he obviously does a great job of putting his team in practice in situational football. Hey, if this happens, this is what we're going to do. Because these guys were ready. There was no question. Hey, this is what we're going to do. And that, to me, is a sign of a hell of a coach.
Yeah, I love everything about Kevin O'Connell, the way he leads. I like that he's a former player, but also he's a little bit of a hard ass.
Yeah.
He's a little bit of a hard ass in there. We've heard the mic'd up situation from outside the locker room after the boys didn't perform well, and he's getting after him. And he's yelling at them. He's in there. But his offense always going to be successful. For the first 3 quarters last night, we wondered. We're like, wait a minute. They took a big jump with J.J. McCarthy here. Obviously, they drafted him early. Could have got Aaron Rodgers, though. We saw what Aaron Rodgers just did with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We assume in a Kevin O'Connell offense, especially with how well Aaron knows all the defenses, that would be a very efficient thing. They go with the guy that they drafted.
Yep.
They stay with J.J. First 3 quarters, I think everybody's wondering. And then the fourth quarter, J.J. McCarthy showed up.
Yeah.
I think we're entering the J.J. McCarthy era. Can he carry that fourth quarter throughout the rest of the season? Do you think they took the lid off there for him, or what are your thoughts?
I mean, it was a tough decision, first and foremost, going to him, after the year that Sam Darnold had. But you invested a top 10 pick in the guy. You know he's a winner. You know he can play ball. We kind of saw we got a full J.J. McCarthy experience. I know I was definitely on a roller coaster. Y'all saw me in the group chat. I'm out on this guy. I'm back in. I'm out. I'm back in. But it's just so many things. Like, film is one thing. The talent is one thing. But the word you always heard about J.J. McCarthy was the intangibles, the leadership. And you saw it even when things weren't going great. Halftime, he's still, dapping every player, every personnel, having a conversation with Justin Jefferson. And you could tell you saw the sideline interaction. Some things maybe that I think Caleb should work on. I think he's great talent-wise. He has all the tools. But I think you got to be a teammate. You got to be a leader. And you got to do it a certain way at that quarterback position. You saw it with J.J. even when things weren't going great. And then in that fourth quarter, he turned it on. He got a rhythm. He made some plays with his legs, made some plays with his arm. So you saw the whole experience with J.J. McCarthy. Aaron Jones had a clip, a little sound bite on Speak Easy Pod. After the game, he jumped on with the boys and talked about something that he said in the huddle, which was huge, which would make me be in on this guy for good. So I like what they did. They pulled the lid, and I think with the talent around him, with KLC calling plays, I think the future is bright in Minnesota.
Yeah, J.J. McCarthy, whenever you talk to the Michigan coaches about, hey, what's so impressive about J.J. McCarthy, they're like, well, obviously the arm talent's insane. We don't really have to use as much because we got to get a run game. By the way, we run the ball a lot. He doesn't bitch at all. He's a potential top 10 quarterback, a top guy.
Yep.
We run it 30 straight times. J.J. McCarthy does not care as long as we win games. And also, whenever he was a freshman, he went into a huddle in the middle of the game. And I guess the way he commanded the huddle, like senior offensive linemen who wanted to hate this little pretty boy come in there were like, damn, we like the way this guy operates. I guess his intangibles of leadership and being a dude have been very evident since high school. And I think what Aaron Jones said to the Speakeasy podcast is they were losing in the fourth quarter, and he looked in the huddle and he said,
third. I think it was third. So when stuff wasn't going great still.
Yeah, maybe whatever, third or fourth quarter, they were losing though, whatever. It was not a good time. And he looked around and he said, is there anywhere else you'd rather be, to the huddle? And then he gives a play call and then he gets right in there. And Aaron Jones was like, damn. And Aaron said that he had been speaking about his leadership and how he's a different mental capacity than anybody he's ever been around. It's like, that's what everybody has said about this guy.
Yeah.
So in the fourth quarter, whenever it shows up the way that it shows up, everybody that had been talking about him, high school, college, Herb Street, literally everybody that know him is like, that's the most predictable J.J. McCarthy shit that there is. That's how they talk about him.
Yeah, and in the draft process, that's the thing you hardly ever get to see unless you really do your homework. Because what he threw, 35 passes in the whole fourth quarter his senior year? I mean, that's hard to evaluate. Can this guy really take us back in the fourth quarter? But when you're talking about the grit, all right, that's what separates them. The guys that really have it, they got the grit, and they can lead. It's not necessarily arm talent, speed, they got grit.
Yeah.
Coach talked about it last week, with how the college game is. A lot of guys, signaling, not really having to go into we all remember the famous soundbite with, I think, Chris Sims and John Gruden and him just trying to get a play call out. That's a part of it. Nick Saban, I think a couple years ago when he was still coaching, I think at that point that was the first team that they had played against that had actually huddled and got out to the huddle, did some shifts, did some motion. So he's been used to that, and that's something that is a learning process. So for him to be on the biggest stage, because I know you guys heard it even through the TV. Like, it was loud out there in Chicago. You throw that pick six, shit can get real ugly. You can start seeing ghosts, especially against that type of defense. So for him to bounce back like he did, not only on the field between the white lines, but to keep it all together on the sideline and everything, the whole process, it was great to see.
Think about the boys, okay, hearing him come into the huddle and saying, is there anywhere else you'd rather be right now? And then leading what he did. Like, and then coming back and winning. Like, all the boys in the locker room like, hey, this is the realest. It's a real deal.
You can figure out the other stuff. Everybody's got talent. Everybody's got arm talent. Everybody can run. But that's the stuff that you, like you said, you don't really, you can't measure that. So for him to show up and show out on prime time, Monday Night Football, you're the only showing time. Not only, like, this is the game where all your peers are watching.
Hometown.
I mean, for him to bounce back and show that showed me and I'm sure everyone else a lot. So I'm excited to watch this team go forward.
Now, the Chicago Bears, will they be good at the end of the year? Zito's not here. Zito was riding a wave last night. I saw him on X up and down. He's in the middle of it too right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
he needed that last night.
Celebration. The way that ended was not good for Zito.
Not at all.
Zito,
didn't sleep a lick last night.
Yeah, a lot of good things happening in Zito's life, but he's in the middle of it right now. That is certainly the case. People are saying, like, is the NFC North nowhere near as strong as we thought it was going to be because of the Vikings trailing and struggling with the Chicago Bears? It's like, I feel like that game last night was just us, and I think the Vikings finding out who J.J. McCarthy is going to be. And it's like, I think Kevin O'Connell in his post-game locker room speech said, we all knew he was going to figure it out. We all knew he was going to figure it out. And here it is right here.
This happens. This feeling that we have right now does not happen without one other guy. All right? Did not go the way any of us wanted. This guy, all right, I could tell from the jump, he was poised. He was poised. But this guy didn't quit me, and you always thought he would figure it out. 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown all in the second half. That's why you guys put a C on his chest. That's why he's going to break his neck right now.
Hey, this is the beginning, but I think we proved something to ourselves tonight. We know what we got in the tape, and let's let it out every week. On to the next one, boys. Family on me, family on 3, 1, 2, 3.
I like that. And a little delay on the 2 to the 3 there, keeping your own rhythm. I appreciate that. But I like that we knew he would figure it out. That's why we put the C on his chest. It's like everybody that's around this guy feels the aura. And I think this is just the beginning. I think the Vikings are going to be a problem this year. I think that is very much just like it was last year for the Minnesota Vikings.